All right. Welcome to our call on November 12th. Super excited that you guys are all here. And I just wanted to start out with some introductions for any of you who might not have been on the call before. So, Jess, maybe you could introduce Meg to us because I don't think that anybody knows her yet except for maybe me.
Yeah, absolutely. So Meg is a beautiful, smart, talented young lady who joined under Michelle Day, which is under me. And she's kind of revolutionizing Facebook parties for us. She's really in touch with what the younger generation wants to see as far as Facebook images and verbiage and stuff. And so it's been a blessing to have her and just to know that she works really, really hard with the job that she has to try and keep her family afloat. And yet she still loves this business and wants to do so much. It's encouraging. So yay, Meg, we love you. Welcome.
Welcome. Thanks for getting on. Awesome. Anybody else who needs to be introduced? Is there anybody else who's new, who hasn't met people yet?
Me.
Who's me?
Lisa Duran.
Lisa. Okay.
Hi, Lisa.
Yes.
Okay.
Hi.
So I did not see you on there. Yay. Okay. So Lisa is a very, very sweet woman whom I met from my my Bible study group. Mom. And hold on. And I just think she's so sweet and kind and really wants to make a difference nutritionally. She was taking a different product when I met her. She had just purchased the whole line of a different product, and she really wanted to know about clean and healthy living. And she ended up finding out about Juice Plus. You know, we talked about it, and she was all on board. She loved it. She was so excited, and now she's full bore. She's so ready. She got her HOP already, and she's ready to get her 2,000 plus. She just got another order today. Yay. So she's so excited to get that going, and her deadline is the 27th. But she's really inspiring to me every single day, and because she works full time. Is it full time, Lisa?
Yeah.
Yeah, full time, and she has a 4-year-old like I do. And so she's excited to know more and learn more and go to boot camp soon too. So welcome, Lisa.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, that's awesome. I want to make a couple of announcements. I'm going to mute a couple of you guys. There we go. Okay. So first of all, I want to make sure that you guys know about our team weekend that we have happening in February in Memphis, Tennessee. We are super excited about this opportunity. So one of the success ingredients for your Juice Plus business is that, you know, we have 2 conferences a year in the fall, which is usually always in October, and then the spring, which is typically in April, but it's been in March before. It's April 26th. The weekend of April 26th, this coming April, and that's going to be in Phoenix. Okay, so 2 conferences a year. But then in addition to that, you know, one of the success ingredients is to also attend 2 boot camps a year. So in between both of those conferences. So for those of you who maybe haven't been to a boot camp before, a boot camp is basically a weekend-long training where some of the top trainers, top people in our company come and they speak and they teach you really nuts and bolts training about how to do this business and, you know, what they're doing day to day in order to be successful. And so we have an amazing opportunity coming up in February where the Cherry Bombs, my NMD friends, and myself are actually going to be hosting our own little mini boot camp in Memphis, Tennessee. And the awesome part about it is that you don't have to buy a ticket. We're not charging tickets. All you have to do is get there and pay for your hotel, which you'd have to pay for anyways if you were going to a boot camp. So you're actually saving money. And then, of course, I guess you're probably going to want to eat too. So you might need to have a little bit of extra money for food. But we are planning some really awesome things within this trip. It's going to be over President's Day weekend. So February 15th, come in on Thursday. And leave either Saturday night or Sunday morning, up to you. And Saturday night, we're just going to go out as a group. So we'd love for you to stay on Saturday night, but we understand that, we all have families and things like that. But if you can mark your calendar for that weekend, not only will you have the 5 of us national marketing directors there to pour into you, but we have some really special guests that are already committing to being there. And so, like, really big names, you guys. Plus, we're going to meet with corporate. Corporate wants to join us for dinner on Thursday night. So if you can come in by dinner time on Thursday, we're planning a special dinner with some of the people from corporate. We're going to tour our corporate offices. We're going to tour the shipping facility, have some special audiences with some of the top leaders at corporate. So we are just really, really excited about what we're pulling together here, and we want to make sure that as many of you can be there as possible. So February 15th, 16th, 17th, possibly 18th if you're able to stay till Sunday morning. Put it on your calendar and see what needs to happen in order for you to be there. Then the other thing I wanted to make sure that you guys all know is that for those of you who are newer reps, maybe who haven't been around long, or maybe you've been around for a while, but you just haven't quite been as plugged in as maybe you'd like to be, we are doing a new rep startup Q&A Zoom tomorrow night at 7 p.m. So I'll just show you the flyer here. It's on our Team Win Facebook page. So if you haven't seen it yet, you can find it on there. But we want you and your sponsor, if possible, to join us. It's going to be at 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time. As always, it's a juggling act to try and get all those time zones in, but we're hoping that these times can work. It's only going to be a half an hour. And I want to remind you guys also that we won't be having the Campbell team calls anymore, except for the first Monday of the month. So the next Campbell team call will be on December 4th. So mark your calendar for that, but there's no 8:30 Eastern time Campbell team call tomorrow night. So you can take that off your calendar. Okay, what else? I am still working on those qualifiers accountability groups. Sorry, I haven't gotten those done yet. As you know, if you're friends with me on Facebook, I've been in Florida since Thursday. So it's on my list, and I promise I'm going to get to it ASAP. It is on my list first thing tomorrow to get that done, to get those put together. And again, if you are in that one of those groups, or if you want to be in that VF accountability group, basically what you need is you need to have done your 2000 plus. You need to be at the VF level. And what we're going to be doing is putting you guys together to work on your DMO and encourage each other to get to qualification and then on to fast track sales coordinator if that's your goal. Okay. And of course, you guys all set your own goals. So I don't set your goals.
Can you unlock me?
So if you
Thank you.
if you haven't if you want to be part of that, if you're at the 14% commission level and you want to be part of that and you haven't let me know yet and you're not in that Boxer chat group, reach out to me as soon as possible. And if you also haven't gone to the Cherry Bomb page and cracked your code, I'd love to kind of mix you guys up by colors too. So I think most of you have done that, but just on the off chance that you haven't, make sure you do that, okay? Any questions about that? You can raise your hand. I'll unmute you if you have a question. Okay. Cool. All right. I think we're ready to share some stories. And you guys, you're going to love hearing this story. So the first person who's going to share tonight is Maureen Green, also known as Nurse Mo. And she's been with our team for a long time. And I don't remember how many years, but she'll tell you kind of how she was introduced to Juice Plus. She's local to me, and she's under Jenny Medina. Go ahead, Mo.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yes? Okay. All right. Thank you so much, first of all, for having me, Carmen. I really appreciate the opportunity to share my story with you. I am a single mom of 3. They are now 30, 21, and 16 this year, all major birthdays this year. And back in 2008, I was working my dream job as an RN clinical manager at a home health company. I loved having RNs, LPNs, and home health aides under me because I felt like I could reach and impact more lives and help more people in that way, and kind of like what we do with Juice Plus and getting buddies next to us and helping us grow. we reach more people, and that's how I felt about my job back then. And a couple of days after my 1-year review, where I received the biggest raise that I could get, I got sick at work. And the next day I ended up in the hospital for a week. They thought it was an intestinal infection. And when I was discharged and went for my follow-up, my surgeon said, the surgeon who followed me, I didn't have surgery, but he said, "You're great, you're good to be discharged, you're good to go." And I said, "Then why do I feel like crap?" And I got my primary doctor to send me to a GI doctor. And before we could do a whole bunch of tests, I ended up back in the hospital again. And we did some diagnostic tests, and I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease. And my life changed drastically. I wasn't able to go back to work. I felt really crappy. And for the next 8-9 months, it was trying to figure out which drugs work. And the drugs that you use for Crohn's disease, the drug that suppresses your immune system, it's an every 2 months dose. So I had to take my dose and then wait 2 months to see if it worked. And then take another dose 2 months later and wait another 2 months to see if it was going to work. After a year and a half, we found out that it wasn't working and had to switch to another one, and a year and a half of that switched to another one. But back up to 2008, I met this really, really, really wonderful person in line at Kings Island, which is an amusement park close to us. I took my kids there because it had been a really, really bad year, and I just wanted to give them a good day out. And my little 7-year-old was standing in line waiting for me to come back with ice cream for her. And I come back, and she's talking to this very peppy, hyperactive woman in line. And I come to know her as Jenny Medina. I love you, Jen. And she was talking with Sydney, and she was in line with her little guy. And our little guys ended up going on the ride together because we were just chit-chatting with each other. And I am an open book. She asked why, what was going on, and I explained to her I'd been diagnosed with Crohn's earlier that year. And I said, I really feel like we have gotten away from where we need to be eating in this country. We need to get back to fruits and vegetables and the basics. And she said, "How do you eat your fruits and vegetables?" And I said, "Funny you should ask, because if you put me in the car and you drive, I'll eat a salad, and when we get to the emergency room, I'll need to go in and I'll need to be hospitalized for a few days because it will have tore me up so bad inside that I'll be in that much pain." So she said, "Have you ever heard of a product called Juice Plus?" And I said, "No." And I said, "What is it?" And she goes, "Well, it's basically fruits and vegetables in a capsule." And I went, "What?" And she goes, "It's fruits and vegetables in a capsule." And I looked at her and I went, "Shut up. Really? Why haven't I heard of this before?" So we talked back and forth. It took her 4 or 5 times to invite me to an in-home party, which we did back then. And I went, and she shared with me after everybody, I think there were 3 people there, after everybody left, that she would love to have me on her team. Now, this is 2008, guys, okay? And that was it. I didn't go on the product until 2009 for like a month or 2. And I remember feeling a little bit better, but life happened. Life happened. It was too expensive. I was on disability. I was a single mom. I couldn't work. And it was too much. Fast forward to 2012, I got approved for Social Security disability. And I was on one of those immunologic drugs, $5 a month patient assistance through the pharmaceutical company. And when I got approved for disability and Medicare, my copay went to $750 a month. That was more than my rent. My kids and I had already been homeless. Yes, homeless. And I wasn't about to do that to my kids again. So I went crying to my GI doctor saying, "What can I do? I have kids to raise. I have to at least live long enough to get my youngest out of high school." And his only solution was to sign me up for a research study with an investigational drug. And I said, that means I'm either going to get the placebo or I'm going to get a drug that can kill me. And I can't do that. So crying on the way home, I was praying hard. And for those of you who are faithful people, you understand what I'm saying. I was really praying. And you know how God nudges you in the shoulder? And he nudged me and nudged me and nudged me and said, "Are you going to do what I showed you 4 years ago?" And I really was at a tough financial point at that time, and I didn't think I could afford it. And I just took a leap of faith, and I said, okay, well, if this is what I'm supposed to do, I'm going to take this Hail Mary, and the money will come from somewhere. So I started with Juice Plus, and guys, I'm going to show you something. Can you see this? That's gummies cut up into a quarter. And that's what I had to start on. Because when I took a whole gummy, my detox was so bad that when Jenny called me a couple of weeks later and said, how are you doing? I said to her, I can't do this anymore. And she goes, what's going on? And I explained to her, and she goes, oh, honey, you're in detox. And I said, I don't care what it is. I can't do this anymore. I'm not doing this anymore. So she said, she begged me, 2 weeks. Give me 2 weeks. Do quarter of a gummy, half a gummy, whatever you can do. Let it melt in your mouth. So that's what I did. And it saved me, and it kept me on Juice Plus. So do whatever you can. And people with GI issues, start them on the gummies, and one a day, just to see how it goes and go from there, because that would have been my downfall right there. So a year and a half later, I ended up with my 12th hospitalization, and I went back to my doctor after I was out, and I said, dude, I'm done doing it your way. I can't do it this way anymore. I really want to see what this Juice Plus stuff will do for my body. And he said, okay. And I said, I really want to start coming off 1 pill a day. And he said, okay. So I did. And a year later, I went back to him, and I said, I know how I'm feeling. Can we do some diagnostic tests? And he said, yeah. So 3 months after, I went back to him, and my upper scope showed just a little bit of gastritis. My colon looked fantastic. It looked healthy. It never had. My lab work all came back normal, and my biopsies came back negative. Everything came back fine. I had never had any of that come back that way the whole 7 years prior. So I'm sitting there, and I'm looking at him like, what just happened? And he's shrugging his shoulders, and he doesn't know what to tell me, because, guys, at this point, I'm going to show you something. Sorry about this. I hope I don't make anyone dizzy. Okay, let's see. See all those pills there? This was my daily medications. This is what I took every single day. That was just prescribed. That's 27 pills there. This was my as needed that I could take every day. I don't know how many is there, along with this Miralax for constipation. This is what I take now, all Juice Plus. With 1 pill, I was on 27 pills a day. I take one, that teeny tiny pill. That's all I take now. And I drink 2 shakes a day. Juice Plus has changed my life. I used to sleep 16 to 22 hours a day. I was the mom who woke up in the morning, got the kids to school, went back to bed, woke up in the afternoon, made sure they got home okay, went back to bed, got up to get dinner on the table, went back to bed, and slept until the next morning to do it all over again. I felt like life had left me behind. I'm going to start crying. There are so many people out there in this world who feel like I used to feel. And I had an angel show up in my life in line at Kings Island, of all places, who was so energetic and thought so much about me and so little about herself that she put herself aside and invited me to an in-home party and kept after me for 4 years. 4 years she kept after me and was open to letting me do what I needed to do in order to experience what I needed to experience to have my own Juice Plus story so that I can impact other lives now. And I am doing that, although slowly, I am doing that. I am so blessed. And my kids are so blessed to have their mom back. And the only reason they have their mom back is because of that woman right there whose half a face we can see on the screen. I love my Jen Jen. She's my earthly angel. And all of you guys are somebody's earthly angels. So we all, including myself, need to get over ourselves. And we need to make it about everybody else, because I guarantee you, it's not just me. There's so many other people out there who need to have the blessing of all of us in their lives. So I thank you guys so much for letting me share my story with you. And I love all of you, where you're at. Thank you so much, Carmen.
Wow. Well, thanks for making us all cry on Sunday night. I mean, seriously, what you said is so true. You just don't even know who the next person is that you can really and truly bless with this. And, we don't make promises. We don't promise that, if they get started on Juice Plus, that their Crohn's disease is going to be cured, or their autoimmune disease, or their heart disease, or their cancer, or whatever it is that they're struggling with. But you know what we do know is that when you flood your body with fruits and vegetables, you're going to have healthier cells. And yes, that was amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. Jen Radford, how would you like to unmute yourself and follow that? So the next person who's going to share is our wonderful Jen Radford. Jen lives in Kentucky, northern Kentucky now. She was living in Georgetown, but she just moved up close to me, so I'm super excited about that. She's a senior sales coordinator on our team, and she has an awesome story about where she was when she started sharing Juice Plus, and what her family's been able to experience in the last couple years, and the freedom that they've been able to experience as a result of Juice Plus. Go for it.
Okay, thank you, Carmen. Mo, that was awesome. That's a tough act to follow. All right, so I will give me thumbs up. Can you all hear me? Can everybody hear me okay? I'm just looking to make sure. Okay. All right, so that was by my cousin Julie, and she wanted me to check it out, and I decided I'm going to try these shakes and support her in her new business endeavor, not having any clue what it was, but wanted to support her. And I fell in love with the shakes, and I was just automatically sharing with people, and I was going to pass people on to Julie. And she's like, well, if you're sharing it, you might as well join and become a distributor. Well, I had no vision as far as beyond just paying for my shakes. At this point, I wasn't even doing trio or capsules or anything. I was just drinking these shakes and loving them. So I did my 2,000 plus pretty much on order, because that's all I was sharing was shakes, because I was just like, when you love something, you share it, and that's what I was doing. And it came so naturally to me, which I loved, because it was a product that immediately when I was doing the shakes, they tasted great. So I felt like it was just so easy to share. And I think that's what I loved about it. So after I fast tracked to VF, I was like, well, maybe I should try these chewable, or actually chewables for my kids and capsules for Jason and me, and get on board with the whole thing. And that's what we did. We just jumped in. I did straight to the trio, got the kids started. And I did not have a vision or anything for this business. I was just going along to pay for the product and had no idea what else laid ahead, till I started to immerse myself in the culture and see all these people with these dreams and fulfilling these dreams. I went to conference in Memphis that following October and realized, wow, I mean, I could do more than just pay for my product. And so I was all in. So after that, I was like, I am just gonna see how far I can go and cast my vision. I had friends join me, and that made a huge difference. As Jay Martin says, find yourself a buddy. I got a few buddies, and that motivated me all the more to continue with the business. I was teaching at the time. I was an art teacher and sales coordinator in the business when my husband got a new job, which would allow him to work from home. So I had to, we made this decision just to sell our home and live in our camper for a year with the kids. And I had to quit my teaching job, but my Juice Plus position can go with you wherever you go. So I just was like, well, I'll just do that from the road and see how it goes. I wasn't sure how it would, play out. I was kind of nervous, but I thought I'd just do what I can, keep in touch with my team and my current customers, and at least stay the same. I didn't expect it to grow. And that's what was so awesome about this business is you can take it wherever you go. I was doing events at campgrounds. I would just do healthy living events. I would post up a flyer and people would just show up, and I would serve smoothies. And the best part is I knew none of these people. So it was so easy, and I wasn't going to see them till maybe never again. So it was so easy to practice at the campgrounds on these people. And I got orders and I got customers, and I still have them and keep in touch with them. And my team continued to work from home, and my paycheck grew while I was traveling on the road. And one cool thing is we did a lot of field trips. I was homeschooling, and I would take the kids places, and a family of 5 to take on a field trip is expensive. And it's my Juice Plus check funded a lot of the fun things that we could do. I mean, we just had that extra check coming in, and I was still able to homeschool my kids and spend all this time with them. It wasn't like I was taken away having to work for that check that hard. It was just maintaining my customer base and sharing with a few others, and my team, keeping in touch with my team and keeping that going. So when we returned back, which is the best part about it, is we've settled in Fort Mitchell, and I didn't have to look for another job. Like most people, when you move, you then start sending out your resumes and interviewing. And that's the best part, is I did not have to send out any resumes. I did not have to interview. I just started back up and sharing in my neighborhood, sharing with the kids' friends, all their new parents I would meet through their activities. And I'm just finding such a great interest in the new location where we're at. And so it's so exciting. So it's growing while we're there. And that's the best part, is that I did not feel the pressure to have to find a new job since we've moved, and I could just take it with me. And I think one of the things, just to share with you a little bit, is it wasn't always easy. As if I'm trying to paint this picture, it wasn't, because there were times I really did kind of want to give up. When you get like 3 people that delay or cancel and don't even tell you, and you just see it, it's easy to get down. It's just but when they talk about disciplining your disappointments and just focusing on keep going, and that's what I tried to do. I just tried not to let that sway me from my bigger goal, which my bigger goal is to be NMD, so I can let these small things, a canceled order, take me away from my big goal of NMD. I mean, when you look at it that way, it seems so silly, to like say you get 3 canceled orders in a week, and that's going to then take away my dream of NMD. So when I was not going to let that, sway me. So I knew my bigger focus, larger picture, was to keep going, keep sharing. On my business right now, just to let you know, I spend probably about an hour or 2 every day on it. Everybody's different, but I definitely don't really let a day go by without a little bit of customer care, or just sending a video out to somebody, or sharing, or maybe posting a recipe on Facebook. So I do touch the business every day, and I probably spend about an hour or 2 every day. But what I love is my kids have gone to school, kind of like Carmen. They've gone back to school, and I am home, and I just love the freedom in it. I love meeting people for lunch and talking about Juice Plus. And that's my kind of thing. So another thing I want to point out with the business is Facebook parties. That's more out of my comfort zone. I'll do them, but that's not my specialty. I like face-to-face. I like going to a meeting people for lunch, or having salad in a jar. But for some people, they like the technology and the Facebook party. So this business can be for anybody. So if you're more of, I prefer to just do it from like from my laptop and communicate on Facebook or set up parties, you can be successful that way. Or if you're, I want to get out and about and meet people and do lunch dates, you can do it that way. You kind of find your niche, but it has caused me to step out of my comfort zone and learn more about technology, as Carmen knows. And that's been good for me. That's been good. But I always will go back to this verse, and this is kind of my standing verse with the business, and it's with life, but
Oh no, Jen, you're leaving us hanging. We want to hear that verse. Oh, well, hopefully she'll come back. I think she might have been driving. But that was awesome. And I just want to thank you guys for being on tonight and remind you. Oh, are you back?
yeah,
You were,
I got a call. I was just getting, are you there? Okay, so I was telling you about my verse.
Yes.
Okay, so this is my verse, my go-to verse that I always come back to, and I've taught the kids that. It's in Galatians 6:9. But let us not become weary in doing good, for in proper time you will reap what you harvest if you do not give up. And this is the same with this business, is do not give up, because you will be rewarded. And it's not a really quick, get rich quick. I mean, it's a take your time, build your business. Or for me, I'm a little bit slower than some, but I'm reaping what I'm sowing right now. I'm starting to see some things happening, and it's so exciting. And if I had given up on those times, those first 4 orders that canceled, or those people that told me it's a gimmick, or what are you trying to sell, or you're in a pyramid, if I'd given up then, I wouldn't have had this mom come up to me today and tell me this is the only thing after 10 years that lets her daughter be able to have be regular, go to the bathroom. And she said, and it's been doctor after doctor, specialists, Miralax like crazy, and to think a couple of plus chewables would do the trick. And she just approached me today about that. And to think, if I had given up on this and let those people that cancel, or people that have said things that maybe were negative about the business or about me, and made it about me, that mom wouldn't have been coming up to me. That mom would have been still struggling with her daughter who can't spend the night places because of bathroom issues. And now they're finally getting their life back. They're finally taking some trips and going places. And she says she knows it's the Juice Plus, because if they go a weekend, say they travel and she doesn't pack that Juice Plus, it becomes an issue for her daughter. And so I think that's the best part about the business, is it's something I can be passionate about. You can see it come through, and people know that my heart's in the right place to share it. And so that's why I love it. So anyways, just go back to my verse. If you ever start to think, I want to give up, I'm done, why don't I just go get a 9-to-5 job? And just think, if in anything, you're going to have to work for it, and it may take time, but you will reap what you harvest. And be patient. I've gotten some of my customers, it took 1.5 years of dripping before they actually were like ready. So just don't give up the first time, and don't get down if they cancel, because a lot of times they come back around. So that's kind of my business story. But one other thing, I'm discovering my children, as they grow older, are becoming so much more expensive. And Ava Rose wanted to do this club volleyball. That's $900. And my husband was like, I don't think so. And I was like, Ava Rose, if you want to try out, Mom will use her Juice Plus check, and we'll do it. You see, if you make the team, we'll give it a go, because Jason wasn't all about it. So that's a nice thing, is my check, I save it, and then I can put it towards some of the kids' activities. So as Carmen mentioned, her, she can say yes more often, and I feel like I can say yes more often on some things. So sorry that I cut it.
That's okay. That was awesome. Thank you so much. I love that. And will you post your verse in our team Facebook page, so that we can reference that?
Yes.
Awesome. I'm going to make you go out of your comfort zone. Maybe you can make it into like a pretty little thing, so that we can we can save it as an image in our phones and go back to it if we get disappointed or discouraged by people, because you're absolutely right. When you say it happens, it happens. But the trick is really making it about them and not about us, right? It's focusing on them and what their needs are and what they what they can get out of this, and not how it's going to help us or whatever. And so focusing on others, that's a huge success ingredient. So anyway, we're a couple minutes over, but that was so good. I'm so glad you guys got on. Thank you so much. I hope to see some of you and your new reps on our call tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern. And we'll see you next week. We are going to have our call, even though we are going to have our call. It's not Thanksgiving yet. November's getting away from you guys. I'm sorry. I'll figure it out. Okay. Love you guys. Have a good night.